Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on Fightful Overbooked, and we are back. Our triumphant return to Fightful Overbooked for another edition of Degrassi Dudes. Of course, I am joined as always by the Spinner Mason to my Jimmy Brooks. He is Steven Jensen. How are you doing, Jensen?
I'm doing great, SP3. How are you doing, my friend?
Wonderful. It's a wonderful day because we get to talk about Degrassi today. And it's been a while. It's been a while because I think the last few times we talked, it wasn't about Degrassi. We talked about other things. So I'm glad to do a show on Degrassi.
Yes. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I have watched I'm always watching Degrassi. I'm always telling you that, because I work from home. So I stay very busy with my shoot job, but I do it from my living room. So I always have at least one TV on, in the background, muted, just throughout my day that I'm kind of looking up at little breaks from the job. And one of my TVs, I have two TVs out in my living room. One of my TVs is always on the Pluto TV Degrassi channel. It just runs. Now, I have found out recently because all these other platforms, they have Pluto TV, obviously, but Roku has their own thing where it's a Degrassi channel.
Yeah.
There's multiple apps now that all have a Degrassi channel, that are all pretty much the same thing. But I noticed, so I agree. So Jared says Pluto's Degrassi channel, for the win. I agree.
Go tear.
But
yeah.
But the only problem, well, see, we'll get into this in today's episode, but they do, so I don't know if this is on purpose or not. And I've talked about this before here on this very show, but on Pluto TV's Degrassi, their loop of the episodes, they go literally from episode 1, which is the Stranger Danger Emma episode, the famous
Catfish.
That
was the creation of Catfish to me.
Yeah, and Neve saw that and came up with the idea for the MTV show.
Neve's Catfish came up with the.
That's right. I haven't watched Catfish since I got COVID, and we talked about it a couple of years ago. I binge watched that while I was stuck on my couch, and I haven't really watched it since.
You should.
That's a whole other.
Still great stuff.
It's a whole other. But yeah, so. Anyway, my point with Pluto TV is they'll go from I think it's called is it mother-daughter reunion or whatever, is the episode the first episode of the show.
Yes, that's the name. Yeah, I think
and it goes all the way through the last moment of season 13 where Claire discovers she's pregnant. It goes to then. And then it starts the loop again at season 1. It completely ignores season 14's existence.
So you don't know what happened to Claire and that baby.
Well, so I didn't.
If you just watch Pluto TV,
right? That part of me is are they doing that on purpose? Because season 14 is ass, and we're gonna get into that. But I'm wondering if someone at Pluto TV is a Degrassi fan, and they're okay, I'll let it get to 13, but I have the power to just not loop 14 in there because they don't. They never have. You can watch it on demand on Pluto. You can find the episodes if you specifically search for season 14 Degrassi. They're there, but they do not air as a part of the loop, and that's only on 14. So, on season 14 on Pluto. If you go to the Roku, they just have Roku TV or whatever built into it. There's a Degrassi channel there that plays them all, goes through season 14. It airs all the episodes. So, but it was funny because we've talked about this before. When I originally watched Degrassi, The Next Generation, we were both the age essentially of the kids we were watching on the screen. We were in high school, high school seniors, and watching Degrassi as it was airing. We were seeing the new episodes coming out as they were coming out on Noggin or the End or whatever.
Yeah.
But then we both, or at least I got out of it around the time where you see the people behind SP3 on his part of the screen around the time that they became like main characters. I got out of it like in real time.
Yeah,
So I came and
same.
I watched this all back during the pandemic. So for like a year after being back into it, I thought it ended with Claire becoming pregnant. Then I thought it was just like the next class came right after that, but I didn't. But I didn't know that there was a season 14 of Degrassi until I like was reading Degrassi wiki or something about, or maybe we were talking about something that I didn't have any idea what you were talking about. So I found season 14, watched it in full, and we talked about it a little bit, and we'll talk about it a little more today. And it made me legitimately angry. Like it makes like I'm so mad that season 14 exists. Season 13 is
You
bad
get like
too.
you get so heated whenever you bring it up.
It makes me so
It's
mad, dude.
hilarious.
It's like the CM Punk of like show seasons for me. Like that's like you want a reaction from me, get me like riled up over like CM Punk or yeah, bring up season 14 of Degrassi the Next Generation. So
What
thanks
gets
everyone
you
who
more
joined the chat,
upset?
by the way.
Season 14 of Degrassi or CM Punk?
It depends on the context.
Fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
But yes, sound off in the chat. Let us know where you think each and every season of Degrassi the Next Generation ranks. We're only ranking the Degrassi the Next Generation seasons, not Degrassi Junior High, not Degrassi High, not Degrassi the Next Class. I think Jensen still has to watch that. Maybe we
It's
can.
bad.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I've gotten a couple episodes in and just given it up. It's just so bad.
Not good. You have to really be committed to binge watch it. And I'm a completionist. That's the only reason I did it. But yes, let's go, Jensen, if you want to
Oh
share
yeah.
our tier list, because I
Boom.
am no longer SP3. I am now Jerome YouTube. That is my alias whenever I do tier list. Jensen, just so you know, that is what I am to be called, Jerome YouTube, because I am the master of the tier list. And here we are again. This is the place I became Jerome YouTube, because we first did tier lists on this channel, on Degrassi Dudes, and we're back at it again with the seasons ranking. So we got our tiers here. You got at the top, you got the perfect season or perfect seasons, maybe more than one belongs in the top tier. These are the best of the best seasons that people remember Degrassi for. Then we have greatness without perfection. So this is great seasons with memorable moments, but not quite the top tier of perfection. Then we have the middle, which is fun but flawed. These were fun seasons. We remember a whole bunch of storylines, a whole bunch of character development, but they had significant flaws that we can always point out. Then we have the second to bottom tier, which is a boring season where not much happened or we weren't entertained as much as the other seasons that are above it. And then we have, of course, Trashily, the Trashily seasons, which is just trash of the trash, unacceptable. This should not be Degrassi, because we have all these other all these other tiers that all these other seasons are at. So
yes. So we want to start at season 1 and then just like go through. Is that what we're gonna do here?
yes,
Like,
I placed it in order from
Okay.
season 1 through season 14. There's also seasons 1 through 4 of Next Class, but we'll just leave them down here for this video here.
Yep.
But we got at the bottom here season 1. So season 1 is, of course, the introduction to everybody. This is how we introduce a lot of the characters, and we see a lot of like character development. There's significant like character storylines throughout the seasons, like Toby having a crush on Emma, or you have Emma who has a crush on Sean, and they develop into a whole relationship. We get their first date, they become boyfriend and girlfriend, but then Sean ruins that due to pressure from passing tests. You have Jimmy and Ashley who experience like their first love. You have Jimmy who does everything he can to get an edge in basketball, and almost risks his whole basketball career by taking Spinner's Ritalin. You got Emma, who deals with her first period in this season. We also got, different history between Sean and Jimmy. You have Terry, who deals with self-image issues, and then the whole season ends with a night of fun that ends up ruining Ashley's reputation as she cheats on Jimmy with Sean after taking some accidentally after they switched the pills with that who was it? JT brought over to the house for the party. So where does
Yes.
season 1 rank for you? And let us know in the live chat, where do you think season 1 ranks on our tier list here?
Okay, so this is going to be kind of a little bit of a litmus here because some of these rankings will change throughout the episode. Season 1, I think, is a pretty iconic season. Like, it does, and it also is important because, like, without the first, without that first season being good, you don't get another, 13 seasons after that. Like, also, if we were older and we were fans of the original Degrassi, then this would have hit pretty hard too, because like we would have been seeing like Snake and and Spike on screen for the first time in like a long time, and Joey with them and everything, and right, and then you'd actually be seeing, because Spike gets pregnant in the original series, so you're actually seeing Emma like an adult version, or sorry, like a teenage version of Emma becoming like an adult throughout the series. So like I feel like this one has to, honestly, I think we should probably honestly start it at like Greatness Without Perfection. It might be one of the top seasons, but I also need to see where the other or maybe we can put it in the middle. I don't know. I have to see where these other ones start falling around it, because I think this was a really good season, but there's some that were way worse and there were better seasons also. I just got to know.
Yeah.
There's so many seasons that like it's going to be hard to know exactly where to put the first season at the moment. So
yeah, I kind of agree with Jared in the chat. He says, season 1 was actually somewhat subversive because they weren't afraid to show the teen characters in unflattering light a lot. Ashley, Paige, Jimmy, and Spinner could be so bratty. There was a lot of stuff that, they touched on a lot of different topics. Like we're talking about like, catfish, periods, first love. So there was a lot of introduction, and I can imagine, like, I wasn't watching at the time of season 1, like I jumped into it a couple of seasons in, but I can imagine at the time in 2001 to see these like 12, 13-year-old kids being in these type of like storylines. It was very kind of like influential and new and unique to storytelling, and especially with teen dramas. Like the teen dramas, they had most of the time they had 20-year-olds playing teenagers. These were actual teens playing these roles. So there was a lot to like about the first season, but I think that is ultimately a fun but flawed season, because I think that they went to further lengths to expand those storylines and to expand these characters. These are very just broad characters when they first introduced. Jimmy, he likes basketball. He likes Ashley. Emma, she's environmentalist. She likes Sean. Like, it's very broad. It's very just basic, and it's not until like the end of the season where you see like the big moment with Ashley where they start to really kind of develop all the different characters. Where season 2, where we'll get into, I feel that is significantly better, that it's a tier up, but I don't know if it's up top. So that's why I kind of rank season 1 fun but flawed.
Yeah, I'm good with that, because it's supposed to like right in the middle to start off too. Like I said, it's like a perfect litmus kind of for these other seasons. Because I agree, I think season 2 is better than season 1. So like it's hard, and then there's going to be better seasons than season 2 as we get through this. So like, yeah, I'm good with putting season 1 right in the middle. That's perfect.
Yeah. So next up, we got season 2. So the characters from the original Degrassi the Junior High and Degrassi High, who kind of are given few glances, few scenes with them. They kind of further develop here as we have Spike and Snake. They begin dating, much to Emma's dismay. You have Ashley, who is desperate to get her friends back, and Marco, who is desperate to keep his sexuality a secret, as he is introduced in this season. You have Paige, who deals with being a victim of SA. You have Hazel, who struggles to accept her heritage. in probably one of the worst episodes ever because they never addressed it again. Meanwhile, the main character of season 2, and the reason why I think that this is in the top 2 tiers, Craig Manning, who's introduced in this season, who deals with an abusive home life with his father, who is basically very jealous of the fact that Craig's stepsister Angie is with the man that left that his wife left him for, Joey, and you can see that Greg is going more and more trying to get closer to them, and this causes his dad to be even more abusive. He eventually has to leave. He starts living with Joey. At the end of the season, his dad comes back saying that he's been kind of reformed and repaired or whatever, and no, he's not. He hits him again, and Craig yells at him, and his dad dies. And Craig has a very emotional episode, kind of dealing with the grief, not being able to deal with, the grief of someone who abused him. So very great depths to this character in Craig. And that's why I would say greatness without perfection, season 2, because they went a far way from season 1, especially with the Craig character.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this one possibly could get into the top tier, depending on the more we get into this. But I'm actually one of the episodes I'm watching right now. I should say the episode I'm watching right now is Craig's literally on the screen. This has to be season 2 that I'm watching right now, like on the Pluto loop. But I remember when they introduced Craig, it was so like creepy because like he was like stalking the family at first. It looked like taking pictures of them from like afar and stuff. And you didn't know who he was or like he was related right at first. But yeah, this is definitely season 2 that I'm watching because Craig's dad is just sitting. Craig's dad's about to grab he's about to grab the golf club. I remember that.
Oh yeah. Start clubbing away.
Yeah, he's about to take the door down. Craig gets in his room, in his photo room, and it's like destroyed. They found the family. Anyway. So yeah, this is definitely we'll rate this without perfection, possibly a bump to perfect season, depending on how this goes.
The reason why I kind of put it at greatness without perfection, because they were able to go even further in season 3. So season 3, you have the main storyline of this season includes Marco, who comes out to his friends. He deals with a lot of he gets abused. He gets jumped for his sexuality and stuff like that after coming out and being more expressive. Coming out to Spinner, the famous scene where he's you're ditching one of the hottest girls in Degrassi High for your mom's pasta sauce. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, pasta sauce.
Pasta sauce. Because what, man? Because I'm gay.
Yeah, because I'm gay. Dude, we got to get Shane Kemp on here sometime.
We got to get Shane on here.
We've teased it before. Pull the curtain back. I have direct messaged him before about coming on here with us, and he sounds like he's down. It's just a matter of scheduling it. Yeah. But yeah, we need to make that happen soon. Talk to Spinner Mason on here
about that scene in particular.
Yeah, we'll have him reenact it. That'd be chef's kiss. Okay, but yeah. So what else we got for season 3?
You got Ellie's, whose self-destructive actions kind of become prominent in this season. She was introduced in season 2, but we start to see that she's a cutter because she's dealing with the fact that her dad is dealing with in the army, so he's away, and her mom has kind of dealt with that by drinking more, so her home life is very unhealthy, so she starts cutting herself. Eventually Paige finds out and gets her some help. This is also the first season where a main character leaves the show as Terry McGregor is put into a coma by her boyfriend Rick Murray. So we have the Rick storyline where he basically is her secret admirer, and they eventually start going out, and he starts to get more possessive and controlling, and then eventually he slaps her across the face. He eventually apologizes, and after some wooing, she gives him another chance, and he gets into a disagreement with her friends, with Paige in them. They get into a fight in the woods, and he pushes her over, and the back of her head hits a rock, and she has to leave school after being in the coma, and we never see from Terry again.
Yeah.
Another main story involves this is the breakout of Manny Santos when Manny Santos becomes the greatest character in teen drama history. Who she changes her whole personality and begins to have a secret affair with Craig Manning, who is dating Ashley Kerwin. Yes, we did a whole video, a whole episode on Craig, Ashley, and Manny, the love triangle to end all love triangles. Manny sleeps with Craig and gets pregnant. We get the infamous episode where she decides to get an abortion, which is cut off from national national feeds for a very long time. I think the only flaw of this only a whole season is that the season does end kind of flat. I did see that in the live chat. Someone mentioned that it ended kind of flat with the whole. I think they do like the whole dance. This is also the season where Sean becomes Eminem, and his real Slim Shady moment where he becomes a bad boy and starts aligning with Jay, and he steals a Snake's laptop. And
I'm about to say he steals like vending machine snacks, but yeah, the laptop was a lot more important.
A lot more worse. A lot more worse. And then that is while Snake is dealing with cancer at the time. So yeah, it's a whole season. But yeah, I think someone else in the chat said season 3 is peak Degrassi. I don't think you can have anywhere else but the top of the top. A tier, perfect season.
First season. I'm okay with putting that there as well. I mean, that is a great season. Yeah, the only like when I rewatched the series, it's like it's hard for me to watch whenever Sean. Wait, does Sean admit about the laptop in season 3 or season 4? Like, how long does
it's in season 3. It's at the end of the season. He basically says he's gonna fix Snake's car to make it
to repay him.
And this is after one of the best episodes, the Breakfast Club episode, where he gets with Ellie. So that relationship starts to kind of transform him back into a softer bad boy.
Yeah. It's hard for me to watch whenever he like admits, because like Snake gives Spinner like an extra chance to like not fail the class.
Sean.
Yeah. Sorry, Sean, my bad. And yeah, and he gives Sean a chance to not fail the class, and like Sean like barely like squeaks by, and Snake's like, all right, Sean, like congrats, like you passed, like he helped him out big time by letting him do like this like final test or essay or whatever, and then Sean tells him that he stole his laptop and everything, and I was like, it's so like hard. It's like, oh my god, it's just like it kills me watching that, because Snake feels like so like he like a knife in his back. He's just like, dude, I have cancer, and like I've let you like stay at my house and stuff, and like and everything. I was like, that was bad. So but Sean eventually turns it around. But yeah, I'll say season 3 at the top. I'm good with that.
Yeah, you got Jimmy gets with Hazel. You have Spinner still with Paige at this time. A lot of this stuff that this is like my introduction to Degrassi. I remember if I remember like the first season, I remember like fully watching is season 3. So that's why I kind of have to put it in that top tier.
I'm probably right there with you, honestly. I probably started watching it around that time, because I remember being like invested by the time. What role? I know we'll get into what season does Jimmy get shot?
Season 4.
I was about to say I was like invested before this happened. Like I was like, yeah.
This is what made this season. This is like riding the high of season 3, and they just kept going with season 4. The main story arc is, of course, the return of Rick Murray. So we have Rick who puts Terry into a coma, and Terry is written off the show, and she leaves the school. So in the early portion of season 4, we get the first 2 episodes is really about Paige dealing with the trial of her the person who committed SA against her, and she has to deal with that. He's acquitted of all the charges. She crashes Spinner's car into his car,
I'm trying to
Yeah,
think of the guy's
Dean.
name. Dean. Yeah.
Dean, you're right. But then, like I think episode 3 is when Rick comes in. So there's a resistance put on Rick by the student body against him. Coming back to Degrassi, the conflict escalates to a point where, because of yellow paint and white feathers being poured on him while on live television, Rick brings a gun to school. He shoots Jimmy Brooks, causing him to be paralyzed from the waist down and be put in a wheelchair. And then he tries to shoot Emma Nelson, but Sean defends Emma, resulting in the gun firing at Rick and causing the end of Rick's life. So this is developed over a long story arc of kind of Rick further being bullied and bullied. And we get moments of light of him like bonding with Toby, Emma being nicer to him after being on the side of like Paige and the other students who have a good reason to not like Rick. And even then Jimmy, when he's put on the academic team with them, he starts to get lighter on Rick and defends him against Spinner and Jay. But it's Spinner, Jay, and Alex who collab together to do the paint and feathering while he's on the TV winning the academic quiz challenge. And then he comes back to school with the gun, and he gets a moment of clarity, and he's not gonna do it after Paige like says sorry, and that was very disgusting what happened to you. And he says sorry what I did to Terry, and he like it looks like he's about to just be all fine with it. He's wiping off his face, and then Spinner and Jay basically see he's in the stall, but he doesn't realize that, and they basically act like Jimmy was a part of the whole thing, and that leads to him shooting Jimmy. And like this is like the most iconic scene in Degrassi history. When you think of Degrassi, people mostly think of Rick shooting Jimmy. So that is why that Time Stand Still is considered like the greatest Degrassi episode ever. And that was like the main story arc, because it's all about the build up to that. And then the post of that, and including some of season 5 and other seasons, are all about the aftermath of the school shooting.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this was one of, especially considering how like famous Drake became. Like this is like so well known even outside of like Degrassi, like Jimmy getting shot, like him getting shot in like the show and everything. Like, and then obviously it had big implications for his character throughout the rest of the seasons, because a lot of his stories were based around like having to pivot from like wanting to play basketball to like art, and like showing what it's like to have to go through that or make big decisions on like if you want to attempt maybe stem cells or like different types of treatments to try to maybe overcome some of the stuff. And so it's, even just the phrase wheelchair Jimmy, like in the chat right now, like that's an actual like, that's people who've never seen Degrassi know Drake as that for some reason, probably also, like they've heard that. But honestly, this might be the best season of the show, honestly, like the more that I think about it. Like this is definitely in a perfect season category. It has to be. Like there's too many things. It builds on season 3, and then there's so many things that happen because of season 4. There's so many stories and character development things that happen because of this season. I feel like it's got to be in the top.
Yeah, it's definitely a perfect season. And like to go over some of the stuff that kind of is the aftermath of this school shooting. Well, Sean is the one that, like we said, defends Emma. He basically has to deal with the fact that he killed somebody. He goes back to Wasega and eventually reunites with his parents and moves there and leaves the show for 2 seasons. That's how he breaks up with Ellie, unfortunately.
I'm going to say, and you find out that Sean sucker punched the dude. Like, it was like his story was like not accurate about like.
It did not add up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the dude winds up having to save him because he tries to like rebel on like a jet ski and just does like donuts in a jet ski and like falls off the jet ski. It was like kind of anticlimactic. He just falls off the jet ski and starts drowning. And then the dude who he sucker punched and deafened in one ear, who they were making fun of, literally like minutes before this happened, this guy is the bigger man and still saves Sean's life. And also similar to, Angel, Terry McGregor, this guy's never seen ever again. All these good people. It's like It's funny because like when you watch some of these shows and you become like Saved by the Bell is like the best example. We've talked about that before with like all the Zach Morris is trash and all that stuff.
Yes.
It's funny how like when you look at certain characters and certain like groups of friends in certain shows and you take like a step back, you're like, these people all suck. Like some of these people just suck. And like why am I cheering for these people? Like everyone else around them I should be cheering for. Anyway. So yeah, just want to throw that out there too.
Yes, it's very true because like Degrassi introduced Emma as the main character from the very beginning, and throughout season 3 and season 4, they totally like tear away from her character, and it's just like make her so hateable. So her aftermath of almost dying in that whole school shooting is after Sean leaves, she basically finds comfort in Jay and gets a social disease because Jay is flipping around with all the girls in school and giving out bracelets. And
say she gets a social disease. She also does get a couple bracelets.
She got some bracelets in return, though. Meanwhile, Spinner is dealing with the guilt of all of this. He's gone from with Paige, but he ruined that whole relationship. Then he got with Manny, and he somehow ruins that relationship just on the simple fact that people find out when he admits to Jimmy that he was the one behind the paint and feathering, and the fact that Rick thought that it was Jimmy. He admits that to Jimmy in an emotional scene. Definitely go out of your way, Shane Kipple. We got to talk about that scene as well. Then he's considered persona non grata. He admits it to the principal. He's expelled from school. He's out of here in season 4. So a lot of consequences for different people, just as far as the school shooting, different relationships end and stuff in this season. But yeah, definitely peak Degrassi just for the school shooting episode alone.
Yes.
So this brings us to season 5. Season 5, it says here, main character Ashley Kerwin departs for London, but returns in the season finale. But she was in a relationship with Craig that kind of devolved, as Craig was the first person to see Jimmy shot at the school shooting, and this it becomes a trigger for his bipolar disorder, and this becomes a strain for their relationship. He deals with that. He deals with a lot, and then Ashley goes to London and he wants to travel with her, but she says she needs the space because she's been dealing with all of his issues. So she wants to go, and this kind of triggers him even more, and he goes out, get beat up for a guitar that he got as a gift. And so he's trying to recover from all of that at the beginning of the season, but then we find out Ashley staying in London and leaving him be. But this brings his friendship with Ellie, who has also been dealing with her own issues from the cutting that we talked about previously in season 3, and brings them closer as friends. But Ellie develops a crush on Craig, who eventually winds up getting back with Manny because it's Manny. Spinner returns to Degrassi, but is now an outcast to his friends, JT and Liberty, who have been kind of like long will they, won't they, as Liberty is kind of the nerd, JT is the class clown, but Liberty's always had a crush on JT. They finally get together in season 4, but in season 5, they have to deal with their impending parenthood, and the Christian-based friendship club begins to cause issues with the rest of the student body, as this is kind of Spinner's way to connect with people, but it becomes a whole issue for everybody else. Craig leaves Degrassi to pursue his music career in this season. After a moment of infidelity, Spike kicks Snake out of the house after Snake is caught with the principal, Miss Haskalascos. New boy Peter Stone is causing all the trouble in the school from the very beginning of this season, as he starts to drive a wedge between Emma and Manny, as he basically records Manny exposing her boobs, even though Emma has a crush on him. But this does not disturb Emma from her crush on Peter. So they have a relationship behind Manny's back, who's very upset at the guy that did put her out on child porn. So Emma once again sucks in this season. With all the added stress on Emma, she does develop anorexia, which is very serious, and we do have sympathy for that. Paige finds herself enjoying Alex's company and starts to expand her sexuality as the two start dating. A lot of stuff went down in this season, but I don't feel as strongly as the past 2 seasons about season 5 for some reason. What about you?
Yeah, so I agree. One thing I missed also season 4 coming into season 5, maybe a little bit. My timeline might be a little bit off. Also, the era where Spinner Mason had arguably the worst haircut in like the history of like humanity. Like,
Oh, you're talking about the long hair in season
well,
4?
what was like the like half shaved, like
Oh yeah,
half long
yeah.
hair thing
That
he
that
was
that
doing?
was his bad boy. That was when
Yeah,
he was the
hanging out
bully
with
of Rick.
Jay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was I've got to point that out too. I always remember being like, "What is this haircut? This is the
Spinner
worst."
went from he's got the box cut. He had the box cut in season 1. Then he had the box cut with the blonde dye, with the blonde dyed with, spiked hair now.
Yeah.
Spiky hair now. Then in season 3, I think he had a little bit of that, and then he was growing his hair. It was all raggedy at certain times. Then season 4 was the long hair into the half bang hair. And then season 5, where we're at now, he went back to the spiky hair, but he's a brunette.
Yeah, so now he's in Friendship Club. He starts like cleaning up his image and everything with Darcy. But then I think the guy's name was Linus, who was like in charge of the club. Actually, like a homophobe and like was like against Marco's attempts at like he tried to do a blood drive, and he thought like he wasn't allowed to be in charge of it because I guess because a gay person shouldn't be in charge of blood was like the implication, I guess, of that story. And then then that gets even worse and worse. Oh no, sorry, that there was the blood drive, and then there was also the he wants to give out condoms. And he's saying that like he's making kids go out and have sex by giving out condoms and stuff. So like you start realizing like this guy is actually like a bad influence, even though like the idea is good, like them being together and like Spinner finding new friends and like not drinking and like all this stuff or whatever. But I remember like him and Jay wind up going to like the beach with like Friendship Club.
And like, Jay tries to talk Darcy into sleeping with Spinner.
Yeah, I gotcha. So yeah, man, that was some pretty crazy stories, I guess, in season 5.
Spinner almost had a good relationship too with Darcy until he cheats on her with Paige at the end of the season.
Paige, that's right. And she booty calls him. Like he's like thinking about getting back together with her, and then she's like, "Oh no, like I'm going off to college, dude. like sorry. It was fun though. I'm always gonna have the bestest memories of my high school boyfriend." And he's just like, "Oh man, use me for my butt," I think is what he said. And then also around that time too was like Sean. It might have been season 4, maybe season 5 when Sean finds out about Jay and Emma being together. Was that
no? We're gonna
that's
get
coming up.
Okay,
gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so I've seen these episodes so many times in just like in like nonstop order that I have no idea where these seasons start and end. So I'd say season 5. Fun but flawed. It wasn't a bad season, but like it wasn't.
I'm between. It's tough. I'm between like greatness without perfection and fun but flawed. I think fun but flawed. I think it's closer to that than greatness without perfection. So
we may need to bump it. We'll see.
Yeah, we may. I'll put it above. I actually think it's a better season than season 1. So I'll put it above that. But next up, we got season 6. So the description here says many of the older main characters graduate and have to deal with college life, except for Jimmy Brooks and Spinner Mason. So at the end, this is like I think this is the season where they become at the end of season 5 is when they become friends again. And then they go into this season repeating their extra year as friends, and their friendship kind of seems tight throughout this season. They start even a business together after Jimmy's kind of drawings draw interest, and they start a shirt shop together. And Squashware. And then this is where Spinner gets the inspiration to become a cop after he takes some guy down that tried to rob Jimmy. You get Degrassi's longtime feud with rival school Lakehurst reaches new heights. This is all involving JT, who starts going out with Mia, who comes into the school in season 6, and this causes friction because Mia's baby daddy in Lakehurst, it has an issue with that, and it starts causes a whole school beef between the two rival schools. Paige begins to have problems at Banting and with Alex. They break up in this season, while Sean and Craig return, causing relationships to be questioned. So Sean is brought in at the beginning of the season, which causes a love triangle, as Peter and Emma had been going strong. Peter helped her through her whole anorexia in season 5, but season 6, Sean comes in and Peter gets jealous. He plants weed on him, so he gets kicked out of school when he attempts to return to Degrassi. This brings Emma closer to Sean, though, as she tries to help him to get out of jail, and their relationship grows after she breaks up with Peter after finding out it was him that did that. We are introduced to Claire Edwards in this season, as well as Darcy's nerdy and unconfident sister, as Darcy and Spinner try their relationship again, even after he cheated on her with Paige. But Darcy basically messes all of that up when she starts taking naughty photos with Peter online for dirty old men who eventually come to her house, and her sister has to save her by calling the cops. And then of course, season 6 will always be remembered, Jensen, for the final season of JT York, as the rivalry with Lakehurst leads to a party where the guys are peeing on JT's car in a moment of anger. After JT doesn't get upset, I guess, after they peed on his car, they stab him in the back, and JT is gone and he is dead. A lot of fallout from that. Of course, Liberty is left heartbroken, as JT had professed his love to Toby just before that, and he was going to go look for Liberty and tell her that his what it was it his oatmeal.
Oatmeal, yeah.
Yes, his oatmeal. So very sad but very memorable season. There's another one. I'm between fun but flawed. Season 5 and season 6, where I was like, they had a lot of memorable moments, but I don't feel as strongly as I did like season 3, season 4, even season 2. Season 2, I'm very strongly that's the greatness without perfection, but I don't feel very strongly about season 5 or season 6. Is between the top middle, well, the second and third tier.
Yeah, I'm good with well, yeah, it's either fun but flawed or greatness not perfection, I would say, is also mainly because like the JT, like that's when you ask anyone who watched Degrassi, like memorable moments, whether good or bad, JT getting stabbed is like always gonna be brought up. Like that's because he was like one of the most likable characters on the show, also.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah. Also, he got snubbed from being in the "I'm Upset" video. Like he wasn't in that with like the rest of the people. With when Drake had like the whole Degrassi crew in. Apparently,
he really died. I don't know.
Well, no, what I think happened. I think I the story that I think I heard was that he was reached out to about it and literally thought like someone was pranking him. He was like, "Why would Drake actually want me in a music video?" Like he thought that they were kidding. And then I guess they called him like. Or FaceTimed him like from it. And they're like, "Where are you?" And he was like, "This is actually happening." But anyway, yeah, I'm good with putting it wherever you want to put it. I'm good with fun but flawed. Again, we got a lot more seasons, but like I also these seasons are kind of like peak Degrassi for me too. Like some of these later seasons are going to be like way worse than this. So
yeah, these are seasons that I kind of vividly remember like watching more than once. The first 6 seasons are like that. So yeah, I think Fun but Flawed is fair. We also got to mention, I see in the chat that Craig got his comeuppance. Yeah, when Craig comes back, he's still in a relationship with Manny, but now he has a drug problem. Manny starts doing drugs with him, but eventually after he blames it on her, she leaves him and dumps his ass, and then he tries to go use Ellie's feelings for him to get his coke back, and he basically breaks her heart, but he's basically forced to get help after Ellie tells Joey. So yeah, had to mention that with Craig's whole arc in this season.
For
very
sure.
quickly.
For sure.
Then we get season 7, which I feel is like the final season of the core cast, or the start of them being faded out for a new crop of talent. So
Yeah.
season 7, in the wake of JT's York's death, Lakehurst High School has burned down, and the students are forced to integrate into Degrassi Community High School. This causes huge problems within the school, and many of the stories revolve around these conflicts and how to rectify them. At the same time, in this second semester, the college kids deal with more unexpected issues. So I feel like the main reason why season 6 was flawed, the main reason why season 7 is flawed, and someone mentioned in the chat, is the focus is split. It's not all on Degrassi. I think that is what
Right.
makes it. But overall, I think that Darcy's storyline at the beginning is interesting. I think that yeah, that's about it. That's about it with season 7. This is the first one I would say boring.
Boring, yeah. Because this is also, yeah. Because the most of the college stuff was like really lame for like the people who graduated.
Yeah, it was just boring. I mean, you had
And
the whole relationship with, I think, Ashley and Jimmy in this season as well, and how that
yeah,
ends. We finally know he raps. I mean, that was good.
yeah, and he did give some foreshadowing to what would become his way more bigger successful career and everything. His flow kind of like felt out the flow a little bit
We got Manny with blonde hair in this season. Man, this season is weird.
Yeah. I'm good with boring. And then also like it was very weird that like just the idea that there would be that much animosity between these two schools, which would make total sense because someone like a group of their friends witnessed and like murdered like someone who was, and then like to have all of them go to school together and just expect her to be just like, no, everyone just get along with each other. It's like kind of a weird. I don't know. It was all just kind of weird. Is the next season the one where Spinner gets like testicular cancer?
Testicular cancer. I think it's this season. If it's not this season, then it would be season. Yeah, it's this season because he gets into a fight with the Lakehurst kid.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the only
there's like 4 good storylines in this whole season. It's Spinner and dealing with testicular cancer. It is Manny and Jay. It is Darcy's whole storyline. And I'm drawing a blank on anything else.
Well, so like the only
and no, Jared, the Lakehurst kids were not fun. None of those characters worked. None of them. Outside, I guess if you count Holly J being a Lakehurst kid because she did come from that high school, that's the only person that worked. I guess and Anya, and Holly J. That's it. The Lakehurst kid. Who was it?
Yeah.
What, Moose? Moose worked for you?
Bruce the Moose. Yeah, that was the only good thing about like that Spinner like cancer story too, was that he was like beating up like the Lakers like losers like that were like bullies. Like he was like standing up. I will say the only good thing that came out of the Lakers thing at all was, I don't know what season this happens in, whenever Holly J actually like develops a crush on Toby randomly. Yes. And whenever Toby tells her, Toby Isaacs calls the shots and rejects her. That's the only good thing that came out of the entirety of Lakehurst being involved with anything that has to do with the show. Yes. Anything. Anyway,
and thank you, Jared. See, that's what I think you got confused. She says, okay, I will say the Lakehurst kids only really come into their own in season 8. Yes, when they stop focusing on college. Well, they still focus on college because we have Emma and Manning now in college. But when they stop focusing on the older kids, they're way too old to be on this show anymore. Paige, Marco, and Ellie, we're over you. I'm done with Ellie storylines at this point. I think this is the same season where we get Ellie and Caitlin getting into a rivalry over.
Oh yeah, and Caitlin's like hooking up with Ellie's boyfriend from college. Like, yeah, lame. Yeah, we just move on.
Yeah, Mia's not interesting. I'm sorry. Mia was interesting when she was the third in the love triangle with JT and Liberty. The whole stuff with her baby daddy and stuff, it's just like, I'm not interested. I'm not really interested into Mia until they try to turn her into bad girl Mia, and that's season 8 as well. Here we go. Season
There you
8.
go.
Several ongoing conflicts in this season revolve around Mia Jones becoming a model. We got Holly J. Sinclair attempting to get into a relationship with Blue for some reason. But
That guy was
this
the
starts
most worthless character in the history of the show. That guy was a complete just I don't even know what. There was not even a word to describe how lame that guy was. Sorry.
This starts the freaking redemption arc for Holly J as well, which I very much enjoy.
When she goes broke, right? And then that's
Yeah. The tensions that the new principal, the Shep, is causing with the students in a separate storyline. You get Emma Nelson, Liberty Van Zandt, and Manny Santos have begun their freshman year at Smithdale. We are introduced to a whole bunch of freshman characters. We get Allie in this season. We get Connor in this season. We get KC in this season. Claire finally comes to the school in this season. We get their whole conflicts with the Shep. We get the Shep's whole conflicts with the football team. With this is a season that Jane gets a lot of development. We learn about her past and dealing with her father, who was did a lot of bad stuff to her. So that's the best way I could say it. The only really, like, I agree with Jared on this one. Yes, the fandom does hate season 8 because it really it kind of was like fading out the older characters and introducing some new ones. Honestly, this is a much upgrade from season 7. After I watched it a second time, back to back, season 7 and season 8, I was like, wow. Like I was also a part of that fandom that hated season 8, but I was like, season 8 is a lot more entertaining than season 7. So I think it's fun but flawed. What about you?
I'm good with putting it there based on those reasons. Like, but this is also when I started like getting out of it in real time because most of my favorite characters were leaving the show. So
same. I'm with you. I was the same way. That's why I needed to watch it a second time, because I was like, oh, season 7 still has my same characters, but I was like, well, none of them are interesting though, except for Spinner. I was like, yeah, Manny doesn't get much of a storyline. She goes out with freaking what's his name? Damien? Is it Damien, the black kid?
Damien was an awful character.
Oh man, I hate that kid. I hate that kid so much. With a passion, ladies and gentlemen. With a passion. I love the Mia model storyline. After watching a second time, I'm just like, this is so out there. This is more of like Gossip Girl than Degrassi. I dig it for how different it is.
Yeah. She's trying to get with she's hooking up with the quarterback, like the NFL quarterback who's like for the modeling career, and like it turns out that like she was gonna get the job either way, so she didn't even need to do any of that. And also, she's like, how like that girl who like it's like the Asian girl on the show who like she was on the show for a while, Layla, but they really didn't use her like for anything except for like this really.
And then she was in a love triangle with Shantae and Danny.
Right, which was her just like giving them bad advice or whatever about dating or whatever it was. That's it. But anyway, they tried to get her like involved in that story too, and it like, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Where would you put this season? Not.
I say fun but flawed. It's a flawed season, but there's a lot of fun stuff in it with the new characters, and they start to get back to the basics with the older characters. And like one of my favorite things in the friendships that I don't know if it was in our friendship ranking, but Spinner and Holly J in this season. I really enjoyed their together. Yeah,
Spinner was
and she saves him. She saves him after he gets shot.
Right, that's true. That guy comes in and like tries to like get them to he like tries to rob the dot and then like freaks out and accidentally shoots Spinner and like feels bad about it. Holly J writes "help me" or gun or something on the door, and Blue like puts it together. That's the only thing he did on the show that mattered at all. But there was a. And Spinner also was like the first person on the whole show who like warmed up to Holly J also because they worked together and like he saw like a different side of her whenever she like needed to work for money. Anyway, yeah, we can move on to the next season.
Season 9, a new group of students enter Degrassi in the second semester of the year, most notably Declan Cohn and his
Coin.
his
What did you say?
Coin.
Yeah, coin. Like a coin. It's spelled not like coin, but it sounds like,
and his twin sister, apparently, Fiona, as well as Jenna Middleton. Though they all cause relationships to be questioned and friendships tested. Jenna gets in the middle of Casey and Claire, who are young freshman lovers, and she is the boyfriend stealer. She even tells Claire that before she steals her boyfriend. This leads Casey down a horrible road where his basketball coach tries to show him porn and a whole bunch of other stuff.
wait, you're talking about Coach Carson?
Yeah,
dude, that was an uncomfortable because he like grooms that kid over the span of like half the season, and you think he's just like a good father figure because like a cool coach who's like, because like Casey's from like a broken home, like in like a foster situation, like a foster home situation, right? Like a group home,
yeah.
And then this guy just turns out to be a perv the whole time. Like, oh man, and he's like got like a gun on him, like bringing it to school and stuff. Oh man, that was anyway. Yeah, that was this is a weird. Anyway, yeah, keep going.
So Mia is written off as she goes to do some modeling somewhere else, which leaves Peter, her boyfriend, to develop a drug problem on heroin or some shit.
No,
like that.
yeah, it was like Crank.
Crank.
Oh my God,
because he gets it at a party that Declan invites him to. So Declan gets in the middle of that relationship. When he's done ruining that relationship, he then causes Jane to cheat on Spinner with him, which causes a strain on that relationship. But that goes kind of unscathed outside of Holly J finding out. The Spinner doesn't even find out yet. Then Declan gets into a whole relationship with Holly J after pursuing her after some time. And then when he's in the relationship at the end of the season, we then Spinner finally finds out after overhearing Jane and Holly J talk that he got cheated on, and this leads Spinner to eventually get married to Emma like 2 or 3 days later. Yes. This is that season. This is that season, folks.
Yeah. Now, iconically, you're missing some big things here during some of these stories, like Peter getting stuck in the middle of traffic on Crank. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen on the show. Like he just like in like a turn lane, just like I don't know where I am. And that was so funny. He has to call his mom to like come help him out, like to get off drugs. Like, there was a beginning of the season. Oh man, there was a lot of stuff about. Oh yeah, the Shantae, the introduction of Declan and Fiona is so lame. When Shantae walks up, oh, what's the upper crust of Degrassi? Well, you must be the delegates, the children. Like they introduce them as these just like super just. Who are the players? That's like what they say about like the
players. Here.
Yeah. Who are the like. Oh my! I hated Declan and Fiona initially.
I hated them too because it was so obvious an attempt to compete with Gossip Girl. Like it was subtle with the Mia becoming a model. It was very subtle how they did it there. It was quite obvious from jump what Declan and Fiona were here for.
Yeah. So, and yeah, even in the intro, if you watch the intro, it's a very douchey like when they show Declan and Fiona in the intro of the show, they're like getting out of like a limo or whatever, and Declan's face, he has this like shit-eating grin on his face, and even in the intro, I'm just like, I hate this guy.
I hate you with a passion.
Now throughout the show, you do realize like he is a very good like brother in a lot of situations to Fiona and stuff. Like
he's just not a very good.
They grow on you, but right, exactly. For sure.
Douglas' sister Fiona starts dating new student Riley, even though she thinks she knows his secret. Riley is in the closet, and Johnny has a secret of his own, which could ruin Allie's life. Right. This is where basically in season 8 we're introduced to the whole relationship of Allie having a crush on Johnny, who is an older classman, and then they sleep together, and he tells her that he has an STD, and even though he said he was a virgin beforehand.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and I missed too, by the way. I hated Jenna. I hated Jenna the entire time, but I think the whole time she was on the show. But I really hated her introduction to the show.
Yeah, I hated Jenna.
Shine, just believe, touch the sky. Her music is so bad. Anyway,
I love it so much every time you do it. It's so great. Jamel French's character is introduced in this this season as R.I.P. Jamel French. What's this character's name again?
In the show,
Dave Turner. Yeah. Dave Turner. Yeah.
Well, dude, you just basically did it as your own story there because
I had to remember by saying the band Durner. Their drink, him and Allie's. That's how I remembered his name. I was like, Turner. Okay, Dave Turner. That
was literally a storyline in the show that no one could remember Dave's name until Bruce the Moose threw piss on him. And then everyone was like, oh, what's up, Dave? What's up? Yeah, what's up, Dave? Yeah, like that got him over, getting piss thrown on him.
That got you over, sir?
Yeah. What?
So where are we putting season 9 here?
Pretty low. I hate these characters.
That's what they're boring.
Yeah, the best part of the season is best part of the season is probably whenever Peter just like bombs at that party. Like he's like trying to play music by himself, but he sucks with the rest of the studs at that snobby like Declan's parents' party, and like his music just blows by himself. That was pretty funny. That's pretty much it.
Now, I will say we got an improvement from season 9 and season 10. Season 10, it says changes are awaiting the students at Degrassi with a new principal, a rebuilt dot, and new students stepping foot on the campus. The school is pushed to the edge, and an on and off rivalry between new student Eli against Fitz, a harboring secret from Adam, a scandalous love triangle between Bianca, Drew, and Allie, and a pregnancy that could flush Jenna's dreams right down the toilet, among others. But after a school dance spirals out of control, it breaks new rules being enforced, and how far will the students go before they crack? I will say, I very much have fond memories of season 10. It just felt like an upgrade. It felt very vibrant with the production. The color schemes were very more vibrant in the season. Aesthetically, I just remember that being the big difference from season 9 to season 10. Eli being introduced and his whole relationship with Claire, you get the starting point of that, and that becomes a crucial part of the rest of the series. The Adam is one of my favorite characters, and his whole story and the episodes dedicated to him are some of the best of this entire season. Drew is introduced in this season, who becomes the new resident fuckboy of Degrassi. You get Bianca, you get more of Allie. Allie is further developed in this season, where she's with Drew and then with Dave later on. And then you get the whole Jenna pregnancy story when she's on freaking American Idol or Canadian Idol and dealing with the whole pregnancy, and then the whole Fitz and Eli stuff. There's a lot of good things. I would say fun but flawed is where I'm leaning, or greatness without. This is another one. I'm between those two: greatness without perfection, or fun but flawed.
Honestly, this one, and I'm surprised I'm saying this, but as I'm thinking about it, because like Eli was one of the, like, they needed that character at that time, big time, because he was the most interesting, complex character that like joined that show, in my opinion, like after like kind of the original cast. I never liked Claire ever on the show. I was never a Claire fan, but like Eli at least made what she was doing on the show interesting to me to some degree, but like he was an interesting character. And then Drew became like the main character of the show at certain points throughout like the next couple of seasons. Also,
the next season, especially because they start the season with his whole story. Yeah.
So I honestly, this one might be greatness without perfection. Honestly, like because it does set the stage, and I think the Eli versus Fitz story actually was one of the better stories in like the later seasons. So
I agree with you. I agree. Season 11, this is kind of like that's another one that kind of goes off of like a great season and kind of just follows up nicely, but it does have flaws as well. But the description here says the students return after spring break, focused on relationships. The seniors close their drama before they graduate. We get Claire is glad when Jake, an old friend, enrolls at Degrassi. Drew has a new love interest. Eli makes new friends. We got Bianca faces serious danger, and Allie meets the perfect boyfriend. A new school year begins in the second half of the season with new freshmen and more storylines. So this is the final season of the Holly J. We haven't even mentioned Allie's brother. I always forget his name. Banderner. What's the other Banderner's name?
Well, Sav.
Sav. Yeah, Sav.
You
Sav.
hate that guy.
Yeah. Sav, I think this is his final season where they just totally just make him the playboy of all playboys in Degrassi. Because season 10, he goes from he's still kind of dealing with his whole fallout of his relationship with Anya into an instant relationship with Holly J. Season 11, he ends his relationship with Holly J, gets into a relationship with Kiki freaking Palmer, and then gets in a relationship with a teacher. Like, this is all within a season and a half.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, that's baller though. Like that's like
this is baller.
Yeah.
This is baller.
Probably actually the coolest character on the show.
I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him at all. Drew becomes a very big focus of this season as we start off this season with him and Bianca in their relationship after he's closed everything out with Allie, and they're going out, they're going strong, but Bianca has a past with gang members that she used to date, and they try to attack her and Drew after a party, and Bianca has to hit the dude over the head with a brick, which gets them in trouble with the cops and with the gang, and they're trying to force to sell drugs for a while until Drew has to give the gun to a cop, but that's after he's jumped by the gang and stuff. Like, it's a whole bunch. It's a crazy story that ends at the end of the season when they basically try to middle of the season, because they go into a whole new school year at the end of the season. I don't know why. It's weird how they do these last couple of seasons.
Yeah,
But
right.
one of the key episodes sees the gang members shoot at Drew, but he winds up hitting Adam. They go and get the cops to arrest him. Vince, because he's Tiny's big brother. But we'll meet Tiny later on. And then the end of season 11 is when we introduce the new class of Maya. Maya and her group of friends, basically. Tristan.
Oh yeah, and some of those characters I didn't love either. So at what point, like, when did when was the like the Degrassi in Hollywood episoose?
Oh, that
was
like 8. That was 8.
That was 8. Okay, because we didn't really touch on that just because they character assassinate like Paige at the end of that thing. Like, they wound up ruining a few of the characters during that. And the reason that I'm bringing that up is because around this time too was also like they did like the Manhattan group of episodes.
Yeah, that's 9. That's
okay.
9.
So that's come. Oh, that was a 9. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
That was 9.
My timeline's so messed up with those.
That was the spinner Emma.
Oh, that's right. So okay, so then we get so in this season, is this the one where Drew like tries to be an MMA fighter?
Yes, because he's dealing with the PTSD after getting
yes, that was hilarious. That was an absolutely hilarious storyline. I know it wasn't meant to be funny, but him becoming an MMA fighter was very, very funny.
Eli deals with his bipolar disorder in this season, and he makes a play about his love for Claire. And we meet Imogen in this season, who's very obsessive over Eli at first.
Yeah, weird story. And it was weird that he's doing a play about her, like, and him, and like nobody like put the kibosh on that. Like, no one's like, "Hey, you're not allowed to do a story." Like, clearly this is about another student. That's like, you should. But yeah, I don't know. Where do you rank this season at?
I think either fumble flawed or boring. It's very between those. What do you think? What do you lean? It definitely wasn't boring though. I don't know if it was boring.
Was this also the season with like whenever Bianca like tries to like steals Allie's dance troupe and stuff? Like Allie like tries to start like a
that was season 10. No, that was season 10.
Season 10.
Yeah.
because that was lame too. I'm just trying to think of all the lame stories. I'm like, okay, which season? I don't know. I put that. I really don't care who put that season. It's definitely not. It's definitely not in the top 2 category. That's for sure.
No, it's like the end of Fun but Flawed. This one I think that we're gonna be in the top 2 on. I don't know about you, but I am. Season 12. So the description here: as the students return to Degrassi from winter break, the Toronto Ice Hounds are introduced to stir up trouble. Claire faces sexual harassment. Adam finds new love, and Drew and Bianca make huge decisions regarding their futures and their relationship. A love square is formed, plus depression and anxiety leads to a suicide of a new student, Campbell Saunders. This event affects all students of Degrassi in a different way, whether they knew Cam or not. They were all traumatized for a short amount of time, or even the rest of their lives. At Degrassi, anything could happen. Like, this is the last great season. It's the last great season. This they should have ended it after this season because it had so much great stuff. The whole Campbell Saunders storyline is a top 3, top 5 storyline in Degrassi history. You get Eli and Claire, they get together at the end of season 11, and we get them actually together really in this season. And the only kind of hiccups they get is from Eli start doing drugs, and then the guy at Claire's work study place. So yeah, so much great stuff. We don't have that much time because I got less than 10 minutes. I need to jump over to Trio E. But season 12 is either greatness or perfection. What about you?
I'll go greatness. I don't think it was perfect. And a lot of it's because I don't like a lot of these characters, but like, so the stories were good. And it gets really bad after this. Like this really was the last great season of the show, and the next couple seasons.
I'm on it. I don't know about you. I would put it above 10, and I would put it above 2.
I'm good with that.
Top of greatness, but perfection. Season 13. Here we go, guys. The final 2 seasons. Description here says, as summer comes around, many of the students go on a trip to Paris, France. Back at Degrassi, Drew and Dallas run a day camp, and Claire deals with cancer, eventually recovering. Everyone deals with the death of Adam Torres, who drove into a tree while texting. When school starts back up, Maya deals with a heated rivalry with small screen actress Zoe Rivas, who gets SA'd later in the school year. Tristan has a sexual relationship with a new teacher who gets fired. Becky testifies against her older brother in court for SAing Zoe, and Drew and Becky form a scandalous relationship after Becky had just went out with his deceased brother. This season sucks. I am sorry. After our whole discussion about the final season, I rewatched both seasons, season 13 and season 14. And I still stand by. Season 13 is worse than season 14. You have 7 episodes in Paris that don't make any much sense of why we're here this long. It just freaking drags. They just throw and drag Claire through the mud. She gets cancer, and then she ends the season pregnant by another man. Like, oh my God. This season.
Yeah, it's terrible. I hate like every character in this season. This also may be around the time that Becky Baker becomes friends with Jenna Middleton, which... Yeah. Also, one of the most iconic. That's another one I like to sing. Whenever Becky introduces herself to Jenna with the, "I think you're really great, and my name is Becky," and like that's like how they become. She just like walks up to her singing. I was like, this is very weird. It was an awful season. I hate most, if not all, of the characters involved with the season. Yeah, and then because the thing, so season 14, you throw that in the trash, and then season 14 you throw right in the trash too. And I don't have to elaborate that much, or even, I mean, I want you to do your description of it, but like, all you really need to know is they straight up did an entire season based on underage high school kids selling, basically doing OnlyFans and pressuring other people into continuing to do it. And That was the main story for the majority of the season. It was absolutely awful. The characters really suck in that season. Zoe is completely character assassinated. All the sympathy that you feel from season 13, everything that happened to her then, you completely forget about because she's pressuring girls to sell nudes in high school without wanting to, most of them, except for that weird like pink-haired girl who was like super down for it the whole time, who I've always caught like a really weird vibe from the whole time. And by the way, the entire series ends on like a murder mystery or whatever. like it was so bad. I stand by my not only is this the worst episode of Degrassi Next Generation, or sorry, the worst season of Degrassi Next Generation, this might be the worst season of television I have ever watched, ever, anything. I hate season 14 of Degrassi.
So, description for season 14. After this terrible storm ravaged the Toronto area, Claire finally reveals to everyone she is pregnant, and Drew decides to take responsibility. Miles begins to spiral out of control due to his father. Becky launches the power cheer team to forget turning against her brother, to which Zoe eventually takes over and leads the squad into a major scandal that leads to a dramatic ending for everyone. After spring break, the school sees a major change when new strict rules are enforced following the Oomph Chat scandal and subsequent fire started by Miles. With Mr. Simpson out and Miss Pill in as principal, the students are not too happy for the last few weeks of the school year, with extracurricular activities highly monitored and cell phones banned. Students are angry with Zoe. Zig and Maya must also deal with their newfound love and Vince's return into Zig's life. Claire loses
Which,
her
by the
pregnancy.
way, he shot somebody in front of everyone and just like is out.
He gets to hang out with the same kids from the high school.
Same area.
Yeah, about Rick.
It makes no
made
sense.
a big deal about Rick.
Canada is like way too chill. Like this is the Anyway, that's what I was so confused when I rewatched that. When I saw season 14 finally, I was like, I think I texted you about it. I was like, dude, is this the same guy who shot the school that they're just living with now? And then Zig snitches too. Dude, Zig's the most boring character in the history of television. Man, screw these characters. This season sucks. These characters suck. The show should have ended with No, listen, if they were going to stretch it this long, the final scene of Degrassi Next Generation should have been Miles, who like I hate that character, but like his dad was like abusive or whatever, and you realize that towards the end and all that stuff, and he finally kind of stands up to him. The end of this whole series should have been Miles in full mount on top of his dad with the OG song, Whatever It Takes, I Hope I Can Make It Through, and him just beating the shit out of his dad. And that would have been, and that should have just been the end of the show. Whatever it takes, and he's just beating the shit out of this guy, and it's just like, all right, and that's game over. It's like there's the series, and then they wound up just taking it and just taking all of our love for the show and everything, balling it up in their hand, and and gave us the new class or whatever after that. I just didn't even 2 episodes in. I said F this and bailed. So
this is our tier ranking, folks. We got Imperfect Season. We got season 3 and season 4. Do we want to have season 3 as the top of the top or season 4?
That's a toss up for me. Let us know in the chat real quick. I know SP3's got a bounce, but
yeah, let us know. Let us know with that. Greatness Without Perfection. We got season 12. We got season 2 and season 10.
Go with
Fun but flawed. I gotta move in here to see season 5. We got season 1. That's season 6, season 8, and season 11. Boring. We have seasons 7 and 9, and then trashily seasons. We have seasons 13 and 14.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much I'm gonna say season 2 equal to season 4. Nah. Season 2 is an upgrade from season 1, but I don't think it's perfect. It's not perfect. I definitely have some issues with it. But yeah, I think season 4 is like the top. So
Let's do that. Put season
You
14
good
at
with
the
that?
top of Trash Week. Then we'll that'll be a good compromise. I need that W.
I need that W. All right, that
F
is our
season
tier
14.
list.
All right.
We will post it up later on our socials so you can all see. But thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate y'all. Jensen, you want to sign off and let everybody know where they can follow you?
Yeah, for sure. If you can save the picture and send it to me, if you wouldn't
Yeah.
mind doing that.
Yeah.
Y'all can follow me on Twitter, Fight Talk _ use code Fight Talk. All one word, no spaces on independentwrestling.tv. The Weekender will drop probably tomorrow on FightfulSelect.com. We'll try to do it on Sunday this week because I don't think there's a GCW show tomorrow. I think there's one tonight, but not tomorrow. So yeah, check that out. Subscribe to FightfulSelect.com and watch the Spotlight Thursday mornings. Myself and Jeremy Lambert, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. YouTube.com/Fightful.
And you can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Jump over. All of y'all joining us right now. We appreciate y'all joining us. Remember to drop the thumbs up on the video. Share this video with all your friends on all your favorite social media platforms. And of course, you could comment down below. Let us know what you thought about our tier list. But jump on over to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. We'll be going live in about like 5 minutes for our True Hill Heat flagship podcast talking about this week in wrestling, including WWE saying no to CM Punk, Triple H taking over for Vince, and yes, the Tuesday Night War and Tony Khan's meltdown over it. We're going to talk all about that on the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. Myself, Top Guy JJ, Miss Christy Love, join us live over there if you want to talk about some wrestling. But
there you go. Go do it. Join them. True Hill Heat. And hit the like button here. Hit the subscribe button. Good to see everyone in the chat. Good seeing you, SB3. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. See ya.